So, you want to own a golf course? You have seen it in your head. 6 in the morning, mist still sitting in the low ground on the 12th, the mowers going out in formation and leaving those stripes down the fairway that nobody can look at without feeling something. 150 acres of green inside a city that has no other green left, your name on the deed, the club champion shaking your hand in October. Somewhere in the back of it there is a feeling that this is the most permanent thing a person can buy, because they are not making any more land, and they are certainly not making any more golf courses. That picture is not entirely wrong. Except before any of that, you have to understand that you're not buying a business that produces cash. You're buying a very large, very thirsty piece of landscaping that has a small business attached to it. Before we go further, we should be honest about who you is here. The median golf property sale in 2024 was $3.5 million, and the average was just over $6 million, according to golf property analysts, who maintain a database of more than 2,700 transactions going back to 2012. That is not a savings account. That is an allocator with access to debt. If that is not you, and it is not me, then what follows is not a plan. It is a window into a business that a lot of very wealthy people have lost a lot of money in, for reasons that are genuinely fascinating. Here is the number most people do not want to hear. In 2024, the average daily fee course surveyed by golf property analysts generated $2,838,904 in gross revenue, with a median of $2,212,782, off an average of 33,077 rounds. And courses sold that year at a median gross income multiplier of 1.07. Read that again. The typical golf course changes hands for roughly 1 times its annual revenue. A profitable business almost never sells for 1 times revenue. It sells for a multiple of its earnings, and the reason golf trades on a revenue multiple is that in a great many cases there are no earnings worth multiplying. The same report puts golf cap rates in the 10 to 12% range, and discount rates at 12 to 15. That is the market telling you, in the only language a market has, exactly how much risk it thinks is sitting under the grass. Nobody knows this because the fantasy is so specific and so physical. You can stand on the property, you can touch it. It does not feel like a business that can go wrong. The market itself is large and boring. Ibis World puts U.S. golf courses and country clubs at $35.5 billion in 2026, growing at a 1% compound annual rate, with a slight dip of 0.4% in that year. The National Golf Foundation counts roughly 16,000 courses at 14,000 facilities as of the end of 2025, which is more locations than McDonald's, and participation is genuinely up. The NGF's Graphies report found 28.1 million people played on grass in 2024, the most since 2008, with the largest single-year gain in golfers since the Tiger boom in 2000. That is a real recovery in a real market. But market size tells you almost nothing about whether you personally will make money from it. And in golf, the gap between those two things is unusually wide. The number you need to learn is maintenance as a percentage of gross revenue. It is the one figure every superintendent, appraiser, and lender in this industry looks at first. The Golf Course Superintendents Association of America found the nationwide average maintenance budget for an 18-hole course was $999,585 in 2023, and the USGA, writing up that survey, put it at 23% of facility revenue. Golf property analyst sees private clubs running just under 20%, so the healthy band is roughly 20 to 25% of everything that comes through the door, spent on grass. The variation inside that average is enormous. About 20% of facilities spent $1.5 million or more to maintain 18 holes. About 15% spent under $400,000. And when that number creeps above 30% of revenue, something is wrong. And it is almost always the same thing. Revenue fell and the grass did not get the memo, because grass grows at the rate. Grass grows regardless of how many people booked a tee time. Now the capital. The median daily fee course sold for $1,700,000 in 2024. The median private club for $5 million. The old broker rule of thumb is $150,000 to $400,000 per hole, which for 18 holes puts you between $2,700,000 and $7,200,000. But the purchase price is the part everyone budgets for, so it is not the part that kills you. The shocking variable is deferred capital expenditure, and specifically the irrigation system. An 18-hole irrigation replacement runs from $750,000 to over $3 million, and in extreme cases past $5 million, according to golf course industry. Golf property analysts, quoting an irrigation consultant, gives you the cleanest way to estimate it: budget roughly $2,500 per sprinkler head, including the head, the swing joint, the wire, and the labor. A 1,000-head course is therefore about $2.5 million, plus perhaps $300,000 more if the system is satellite-based, because satellite systems use 3 to 5 times as much wire. The USGA reports that new systems start at 2.5 to 3 million and run 4 million or more on the West Coast. These systems last 25 to 30 years, which means the single most important question in your entire due diligence is not what the greens look like. It is what year the pipe went in the ground. Because if the answer is 1996, you have just bought a $3 million bill and the seller knew it. Then the fleet. Mowers, sprayers, spreaders, and utility vehicles run $500,000 to $600,000 for an 18-hole operation, and the pump station behind the irrigation system is another $200,000 to $400,000, with some courses running $2 million. And the GCSAA's 2025 survey found the average annual capital budget across responding courses was $303,088, up 53% from $198,631 in 2022. 16% of respondents had a capital budget of $0. Those are not courses that have solved capital expenditure. Those are courses that have postponed it onto whoever buys them next, which in this scenario is you. Add 20 to 25% contingency to every contractor number you're given. Because the thing that is always worse than it looks on a golf course is drainage, and drainage is underground. Now the compression, because this is where the shape of the business becomes clear. Your headline product looks fine. The NGF puts the average 18-hole green fee at municipal and daily fee courses at about $41 in 2025 up 27% since 2019, which is almost exactly in line with inflation. Add the cart, the beer at the turn, the sleeve of balls, and golf property analysts found average gross revenue per round of $66.86 in 2024, with a median of $59.37. The cost of serving that round is small. Food and beverage cost of sales runs 26 to 36% of food and beverage revenue. The marginal cost of one more golfer walking onto a course that is already mown is close to nothing. So the per-round economics look like a healthy service business. And then you look at the bottom. Golf property analysts, writing about stabilized properties, observes that for-profit clubs generally stabilize with operating expenses in the mid to upper 80% of gross revenue, and not-for-profit private clubs at close to 100%. Between a product with almost no marginal cost and a business that keeps 12 to 15 cents on the dollar sits a cost structure that consumes the difference with real efficiency. Labor goes first. GGA partners put labor at 52 to 58% of total expenses, and the BLS made 2025 wage figures show why it does not compress. Groundskeeping workers averaged $20.33 an hour, or $42,290 a year, with their supervisors at $26.06. A public access course typically runs 12 to 18 maintenance staff, including seasonal help. That crew exists because the grass exists. It does not scale down when November arrives and the tee sheet empties. Then the grass itself at 23% of revenue. Then water, which in the north-central region costs an average of $4,700 a year, and in the southwest costs an average of $107,800. Then insurance, property tax on 150 acres of land that a developer would very much like to buy, and the interest on debt that golf property analysts reports has been averaging 7 to 9% at 60 to 70% loan to value. The distance between the round that costs you almost nothing to sell and the 12% that reaches the bottom is your entire life as an owner. Now the failure rate. And here the folklore is genuinely wrong. Golf courses do not fail at some spectacular rate. The National Golf Foundation counted approximately 90 closures last year in 18-hole equivalents, which trimmed less than half of 1% from national supply and was the lowest figure in almost 2 decades. Openings were the highest since 2010. For context, BLS Business Employment Dynamics data shows about half of all new private sector establishments are gone within 5 or 6 years. So golf courses are not unusually fragile. What they are is unusually slow. A restaurant that stops working closes in 11 months. A golf course that stops working takes 8 years, because the owner keeps funding the gap. And because there's always a land value underneath the failure. The NGF's own phrase for this is that sometimes the dirt is worth more than the grass. Jay Karen, who runs the National Golf Course Owners Association, has said the most imperiled properties are privately owned daily fee courses near big cities, where land and labor are expensive. That is not a coincidence. That is the sentence, your best exit is a home builder in professional clothing. And here's the killer, which is that the one lever you have is wired to the value of the asset. Go back to that 23% maintenance figure, the one you have already accepted as normal. When revenue disappoints, that is the line every new owner reaches for, because it is the biggest number on the page that is not a contract. Lawrence Hirsch of Golf Property Analysts, who has appraised courses for decades, puts the relationship plainly. The impact on value is roughly 9 to 10 times each dollar saved or spent on maintenance. So take a course doing the median $2,212,782 in revenue. Maintenance is running about $508,940. You are short on cash, and you cut $100,000 out of it. You have solved a $100,000 problem and destroyed somewhere between $900,000 and $1 million of enterprise value. Because conditioning is the product. Conditioning drives rounds, rounds drive revenue, and revenue is what the next buyer capitalizes. The only cost you can cut is the thing you're selling. And in the Western United States, a regulator can pull that lever for you without asking. In January 2023, the Las Vegas Valley Water District approved a reduction in golf course water budgets from 6.3 acre-feet per irrigated acre per year down to 4.0, effective in 2024, with surcharges for anything above. That is a 35% cut, and the USGA's Southwest agronomist has noted that 4 acre-feet sits about 1.5 acre-feet below what Bermuda grass in southern Nevada actually consumes, and 3 to 3.5 below what an overseeded course needs. A Nevada law passed in 2021 goes further, prohibiting Colorado River water delivered by Southern Nevada Water Authority member agencies for non-functional grass, including at golf courses, from 2027. 30 local courses have already removed more than 900 acres of turf. The median American 18-hole course uses 148.3 acre-feet of water a year. That is 23,703 gallons. In the Southwest, the average annual water bill for 18 holes is $107,800, up 30% since 2001, and it is not uncommon in southern Nevada for a course to pay over $1 million. You cannot negotiate with a water district, and you cannot substitute the input. So let us run the actual numbers on 2 realistic versions of your golf course. Option 1, the modest version. You buy a daily fee 18 at the 2024 median of $3.5 million. You do median volume, 30,000 rounds, $2,212,782 of gross revenue. Operating expenses at 88%, which is what golf property analysts sees stabilized for-profit courses run, take $1,947,248 and leave you $265,534. You financed at 65% loan to value, so $275,000 of debt at 8% costs you $182,000 a year in interest alone. You are left with $83,534. Then the GCSAA's average capital budget of $303,088 arrives. You are $220,000 underwater in a normal year, and you have not paid yourself anything. This is the version people buy. Option 2, the premium version. You buy the average rather than the median, $6 million for a better located course doing $2,838,904 in revenue. You run it properly and hold operating expenses to 85%, so operating income is $425,836. Capitalize that at 11%, which is where golf property analysts reports golf cap rates sit, and the property is worth $3,871,236. You paid $6. That gap is the entire story of golf course investing, and it is why the sellers in this market are so patient and so pleasant. The golf course business works. It works because people have been walking across mown grass, hitting a small ball toward a distant hole for more than 500 years. And because there is no other product on earth that sells 4 hours of uninterrupted daylight in the company of 3 friends. 28 million Americans did it on grass in 2024, the most since 2008, and the number is still climbing. It does not work the way the fantasy version suggests, which is that you buy 150 permanent acres and collect green fees off them forever. It works when you buy at a genuine discount to replacement cost. It works when the irrigation is under 10 years old, or the price reflects that it is not. It works when the land underneath has a second use and you are honest with yourself that this is part of the return. It works when your water is not delivered by a district with a drought plan. It works when you can hold the property for a decade without needing it to fund your life. It works when you understand that maintenance is not a cost center. It is the product, and the day you cut it is the day you start selling. Not bad for a business whose entire asset is grass and whose entire risk is that grass is thirsty.